Yeah.
I had a teammate who would, I loved it cold in my hotel rooms. I had a teammate that would walk, he's from Mississippi. He walked into my hotel room one day and he's like, "Dang, Augie, you raising penguins up in here?" That's what I feel like every time we come into this room. However, then we'll bring the heat. How about that? We'll bring the heat. So today we've got high value, in my opinion, but we're gonna keep from being in trouble with our future sellers by hearing from Colin. Megan is with family today, so she will not be doing her segment.
Was it Sarah's chair?
It was not me.
Sarah's chair makes.
That was
noises
not
all the
me.
time, But this time it was not her.
It's back there.
Family, roll up the windows before you do it. And then we're gonna try to get out of trouble with our current listings and then stay out of trouble with the documents. And speaking of the man of the hour, let's bring up Colin. Come on up, Colin.
Thank you, Sarah.
Where am I going? Wherever you like, but I'll let you. Tell me about it.
Are we seeing?
You want me to be like your seller? Sure. So ultimately, the crux of this is Colin had agreed conversation call, which they're all pretty great. And it was about making sure you're securing the 5% future price reduction up front in that conversation.
Yeah, maybe we should step back.
Okay.
Who is seeing what I'm seeing? Buyers have shut off. Everybody seeing that? Thoughts on price point where it's happening? I'm seeing it everywhere.
I thought it was just me.
Oh, I don't think it is.
Welcome to today's meeting, because it's not just you, and that's what the whole meeting is about.
Yeah, we'll have a big discussion about that today.
Yeah, I saw it through the holiday week was good, super strong. And coming out of that 4th of July weekend, light switch off. Like totally off. So, okay, so I'm not the only one. Okay. And nobody's seeing it at a certain price point.
Well, the thing is that I found it really, really dead, right around the same time. But recently, this last week, we've had quite a few more showings on some of our properties. So all of a sudden, they're out, and we've gotten a couple of deals. So
Good.
on things that have been sitting for a while. So
Interesting. Okay. I've got it coming soon right now, like 375 in Burnsville. And we went coming soon. Friday maybe. We're live tomorrow with today's Wednesday, obviously. I don't have a single showing scheduled yet. So, and it was the same thing 2 weeks ago for a nice place in Lakeville. Or mid-4s, give or take, so. All right. Okay, well. All right, isn't that joyous news? So probably more important to have the discussion. I know I've done this with everybody many times, but Jamie asked if I'd go through it again, so. I think it is of utmost importance now, as much as ever, given where we're at with buyer activity, to make sure we're setting the stage at the kitchen table. And all we can do is take the data that we have and do our best to price properties appropriately, but ultimately the market decides if that number is right, wrong, or indifferent, right? So generally what I will do, I will go into InfoSparks and I will fine tune the data out of InfoSparks as closely as I can to whatever it is I'm leading on. And by that, depending on the property, maybe lead with school district, And then really get tight on price. I'm usually looking at about $100,000 window around the price that I'm at. Beds, baths, generally speaking, like just go through that whole thing and really fine tune it for what you have going on. And then from there, I will bring median days on market and median number of showings until an offer is received. And the reason I bring those two is because I will have a conversation with the seller that says, hey guys, here are the stats. And remember, the data looks backwards. The data looks backwards. So the other thing I'll do is I'll do a rolling 12, rolling 6, rolling 3, and then a month. And I'll just see, is there a trend in there? Am I seeing something happen? You have to be careful. The 1 and 3 month, you might not have enough data to really give you good information, but it's nice to see what's happening when you make those adjustments, right? Are you seeing a drastic change from the rolling 6 or the rolling 12? And I print those graphs out and I write on there whatever the number is, 11, 12, 15, whatever the number is, I write it there. And then when we're talking about selling the house, I say, all right, there are 3 things that are going to sell your house, Jamie. Number 1 is the condition. Can we agree that you're above average condition? Okay, that's good. Right, number 2 is marketing. I've already gone through all my listing presentation. So number 2 is marketing. Based on what we've talked about, can we agree that our marketing is going to get the job done? Sure. Okay, so 1 and 2 are already taken care of. Number 3 is price. Now, who decides the price, Jamie?
Well, my wife and I.
You decide and ask. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Yep, and I help you decide that ask. But who ultimately determines the price of your home? It's not you, it's not your wife, it's not me, it's the buyer. Does that make sense?
Sure.
They're the ones that are bringing the money to the table, right? So at the end of the day, Jamie, it really doesn't matter what kind of feedback we get. Nothing matters other than, are we hitting these 2 metrics? So based on the market, and again, this is backwards looking data, but based on the market, what we know is median number of days on the market for a home like yours is 15. Okay, the median number of showings until we would expect to see an offer is 11. So what does that mean? Either of these metrics, whichever we reach first, if we do not have an offer in hand, I can tell you right now, the market is telling us we are at least 5% too high. All right, and I can show you all the statistical data and examples to back that up. Trust me. If we don't meet these metrics, we are at least 5% too high. Now, the reason I want to talk to you about this analogy is we are starting to see this happen. Buyer activity has slowed down. All right, so we're going to monitor these 2 things very closely. And I'm going to study the market every week and give you a call on Tuesday mornings and give you an update as to what's been going on. If your neighbor's house sold, we need to figure out why did that one sell and not yours. Because they probably looked at yours too. All right. If we get to this time frame or this number of showings and we don't have that offer, when I call you on the Tuesday morning, I'm going to say, hey, Jamie, remember the metrics we talked about and that 5% rule? Well, we're there. So here's my recommendation. We're listed at $400,000. Before we go into this weekend, we need to make a 5% adjustment. So that means we need to go into the weekend at 380. Do you have any questions on that?
So we talked about.
What we talked about. That's the exact discussion I have over and over and over again. I'll tell you what, it makes that Tuesday morning call a lot easier because they're expecting it.
I would assume you still, or do you still have people go, well, do we have to go that much?
Yeah, you do. Sometimes. The other thing, if we get into a little bit more discussion on that at the kitchen table, the other thing I'll bring up is. Well, let's reverse roles for a moment. Let's say you're the buyer and you were walking through your house. And it's listed at $400,000. And the market of that day is not supporting a $400,000 ask price. Would it really move the needle for you if it were listed at $395 rather than $400? Well, I suppose not. If we're going to make a price adjustment, we have to make an adjustment to an extent that is going to move the needle and bring traffic back in. And that number is 5%. Yes.
You say it more succinctly, better, fewer words than my running mouth. So I like how you say it. The only thing to add to that is, and I see light bulbs go on, literally the kitchen table is. For other clients that have taken my recommendation and have dropped the 5%, understand you might be a house that sells other houses.
Mhm.
I mean, I say that phrase a lot and they're
Yep.
kind of like. Don't be a house that sells other houses.
Yeah.
Because somebody else is gonna see pretty much all things equal, plus or minus here and there.
Yep.
At your 380, or your 400, they're 380. You would buy the 380 all day long.
Absolutely. No, that's a very fair statement, and it's 100% accurate. Yep. Now, when I say that, I hope everybody heard, I said at least 5% too high. I didn't say we are 5% too high. I said we are at least 5% too high. Because I don't know where the market's going.
And you talk about that there's still potential for a bidding war even 2 weeks into it, if we're priced, if we move the needle enough.
I don't, because it's out of my control. Right, it's out of my control. If we're within 5%, we should get an offer. We should get one. If we're off by 10 grand, somebody will come in and offer 390 instead of 400, right? We've all seen that. I don't, especially right now, I do not like talking about multiple offers. Just because I don't want to set a false expectation.
And yet they have it, because they're still talking to their uncles and aunts and mailmen for,
Yep, well, they just sold a couple months, no, they sold 2 years ago, right? It's, you forget how fast time goes, right? Well, that one on the corner just sold, you know, it sold in 21. And it just 5 years ago, right? You know,
There's 2 tools that I use on listings to try to help support the price drops to like in showing time that I don't know, I'm sure people know or maybe not. There's reports that you can run. One is activity on comparables. And one is target market analysis, so you can run them in a price point. You can use
the
it
number of
here.
show, is that the one that has the number of showings at different price points?
Yep,
Okay,
and then you can show them, okay, if you drop price here, look how many showings is happening. Versus where we are.
we should look at that. I don't think I've done the comparables one before. I'll have to look at that.
And then activities on comparables, you can actually see showings that's happening on other listings.
Okay,
Gently, would you like to teach a class?
Yeah.
In a couple weeks?
Sure.
yeah, no, I think those rules are super important. So then what do we do if we didn't tee up the listing at the kitchen table? And we know we're not in good shape, we're 3-4 weeks in, how does that discussion look? To me, it's as straightforward as ring, ring, hi Jamie, it's Colin. Wanted to check in with you here again on Tuesday morning. So, as you're very well aware, our showings have dried up. And I can tell you that I'm seeing this across the market at many different price points, so it's not just us. Here is my recommendation. The market is telling us we are priced too high. If we were priced appropriately, we would have activity. My recommendation is we have to make a change, and we have to make a significant enough change to reinvigorate interest in your property in the existing buying pool. So my recommendation is that change needs to be at least 5%.
I have a
and
question.
that's it.
I have a question. So let's say you're listed, you go by the 5% number, and that's what they're hearing. They might not have fully heard leaves, right? 5%, and let's say that brings you to 710. Would you then further recommend, look, to get into a certain area of you know, the search engines out there?
Sure.
Do we want to we should get below the 7 number? Or do you
Maybe.
stick with it?
Maybe, yeah, maybe. I think Jim Lee's suggestion, looking at, you know, what the showing activity looks like at the different price points. The one thing we do have to be careful with that stat though, is are there properties on the market within those price ranges? Oh, look, there's no showings from 5 to 5 and a quarter. Yeah, it's because there's no houses priced from 5 to 5 and a quarter, right? So we've gotta, we can't just drill down on the numbers. We have to look at the numbers and step back and think of the numbers, right? So, yeah, maybe,
How often do you take that into consideration when pricing?
I do when pricing, yeah. Yep, I do.
And how much do you look at the competition as far as which pool you're deciding to put your lure
I guess
into?
I'm not sure what you mean by that
Well,
question.
for example, let's say, you know, the numbers are saying it's 525,
Mhm.
and then you look at what's our competition looking like?
Mhm.
Where do we look compared to these guys? So when the fish swim by my lure,
Yep.
what are they looking at? Are they gonna see these, or are they gonna be more interested in mine?
Right.
Do you gauge that or no?
Yeah, I think we have to bring actives to our listing appointments. Like actives are, the proof is in the pudding. This house has been on the market 3 weeks. Here's the price. It's a comp to yours, but if that's not selling at that number, then why do we think ours is gonna sell at that number?
I recently had a listing that they were wanting to price around 625. And like literally the day we were gonna go coming soon, there were 2 others that came on right near them, like, I mean, one right behind them essentially. One for 615 and one for 620. So they weren't on the market. They were brand new on the market too.
Yep.
But I said, you don't want to be the highest priced one, because
Right.
everyone that sees either of those is gonna see yours. They're gonna look at all 3 of you.
Yep,
So they decided to go to 600, and we got a fantastic, significantly higher than list price offer on day 1, which they took. And those other 2 houses are still sitting.
yep. I think the other, something that I heard at, I think it was the last family reunion. A lady that does a lot of listening, something she said really stuck with me. I thought it was really sharp. She said, don't look at the price that the house sold at. Look at the price it was listed at that garnered the offers to get it to that close price. Because it was the number it was listed at that caused it to get that attention. So just keep that in mind again when analyzing.
And that
may
goes
not-
both ways.
It
Like
goes both
I do
ways.
that all the time. And
Yep.
I say, look, this was priced, I have one right now that I'm coming to. This was priced at 435 and it sold at 460. This one was priced at 475 and sat for 62 days and sold at 445. You know, it goes both ways. And yeah, I use that all the time.
Yep. And if you don't feel confident in this 5% jazz that I'm talking about, go online, go on the MLS and look for examples of price drops. And I will guarantee you, once they get into the right pocket, that property is going to sell within a couple of weeks. Oh, is that gonna be true moving forward? I don't know, right? I have no idea what's gonna happen. So, Steve?
And you could actually search just for price reductions
Okay,
in the MLS.
yep, well, there you go. You can fine tune your search to make it easier on yourself.
Yep.
Yep.
Sir, you gotta get back to your coaching. I wanna be careful with your.
This is a good discussion, so, yes.
What is your recommended margin on the size of the house, like plus minus? How many thousand square feet? I struggle with, I have homes in the neighborhood that kind of range from older and smaller to newer and larger.
Okay.
And then older and smaller are selling at about like 4 to 450. But larger ones, the newer ones are selling at 500 plus. So if you're like in the middle, it's a larger house, it's not as new, but it's much larger than the other ones that are selling for 450. Like how much does the size, like the square footage matter when pricing?
Well, it's a factor, right? It's one of the factors. Of course, finish levels and
Yep.
lots and all those kinds of things play into it. But just from a very simple standpoint, it costs money to build square footage.
Yeah.
Right, so there's a value there. But it's not linear either, right? Because everybody can live in a 2,000 square foot house. 2,400 square feet might feel more comfortable than 2,000. But in my opinion, it's not a linear difference on a price per square foot basis between the two.
Okay.
So I think you're somewhat asking a theoretical question that's hard to answer without looking at examples of what you're getting at.
So when you're pricing, like when you're doing CMA and then one house is like 400 square feet bigger than the other, how do you factor that in your price? All other things being equal.
If a house is bigger than another, I'll usually, the difference in square footage, I'll usually just cut that in half. So if one house is 400 square feet bigger than the other, I'll consider 200 square feet at whatever the price per square foot
Okay.
amount is.
Okay.
Just to try to get a kind of a ballpark figure on the difference in value.
Okay.
Yep, but again, it's so impacted by finish levels, and especially if you've got a bunch of older small homes and a bunch of newer large homes. You've got to be careful not to compare apples and oranges. Thoughts, questions?
You're gonna stick around, we're going into the inventory, just like you were talking about.
I didn't say it was sticking. I said,
Supposed to be in a call,
yeah.
and then you took time out of the call. Must be excited to get back to it.
Yeah. Right, no other
Well, then
questions?
we'll let you off the hook.
All right.
Thanks, Paula.
Thank you. Yeah, you bet.
Okay. So as we were talking about last week and what Colin alluded to, but last week we were talking about, here's just a quick example. Here's the shift from James Shaw's book. This is a traditional market. There's a no man's land we don't know. And then, whoa, that's interesting. And then you sat down. Yeah, that was cool. You had your own like sit song.
I do. Why have walk-up music when you have sit-down music?
Then we're talking about there's really no man's land right now. It's either in the market or out of the market. And what Colin said and what we really discussed last week, this is more what it feels like right now. So we know what this feels like. We know it feels like this to y'all, and we wanted to go over it and say, hey, you know what? Here's our current inventory, what we have now. So here's what we can do with our current sellers when we sit down with them for pricing. But what are we doing with our current inventory? Right here, like it says, we've got 140 as of Monday, active residential listings as a collective team. And almost half of them have been on the market for 40 plus days. Listings over 60 days on the market, because that's what we want to talk about. Is how do you have those conversations with people who have been on the market? Like Colin already alluded to, 44 of them over 60. Now, this is where we see you're working hard, because 61 of those have had a reduced price. So you're having these conversations and you're getting these, so way to go. Average total reduction is 25K. That seems like that one kind of shocked me a little bit. That's a big price reduction. And then the average number of them so far is 2.1. So we're seeing your work, where you guys are obviously having these great conversations, and we wanted to continue this conversation further. And we had a great one at Sarah's broker open yesterday. And Jason, let's kick it off. Open discussion, sir.
Ooh, yeah, just throwing that ball. Hey, you sat up here and had all these conversations already. Kind of kidding, kind of not. Look, I think it's important and I think, and I'm just gonna go back. Because I want to be clear about why we're even talking about this. We have 140 listings as brokerage right now. And one of the things that I think is amazing, and Gabriella, is looking to get her license, so she's up here.
Okay.
But one of the things that I think is truly amazing about this brokerage is, our desire and what we have shown as a skill and ability to come together to help each other, to be a collaborative brokerage, that you're not afraid to ask your neighbor what's going on. And yesterday, I was at a broker open with Sarah, and we kind of talked a little bit about this. We just started kind of feeling it out. And then Scotty this morning in the meeting said, I'm glad to find out I'm not the only one. Right? And that was pretty much the same message that Sarah had yesterday. Now, if we have 140 listings and 44 of them have been on the market for over 60 days, let's be honest, you're not the only one. And yet, if you feel like that, then we've got a mission. We've got a mission. And that mission as a leadership team is to bring it to you and say, all right, let's put our heads together. Let's start solving this. Let's not stay in our separate silos and feel like we're the only ones. Our skill is in our collaboration. That's what brings us, well, I mean, by definition, that's what brings us together is collaborating. But at any rate, let's start working on what we can do together. What are some ideas that we've got? Let's start brainstorming. Let's throw some stuff out here. And so that the next time we get together, we go, hey, that number is lower. That number will be lower because you guys have great ideas and each of you are attacking this in different ways. Obviously, price is important, but who wants to go to their seller every day and say, hey, let's reduce the price again? And if that's fun for you, this might not be the discussion. If it's fun for your seller, this might not be the discussion. But if that's not fun for your seller and it's not what your seller wants to do every 5 minutes, reduce the price, maybe there are some other strategies that we can attack. Maybe there are some other ideas that we can have that in concert with reducing the price to the correct price can get us to the goal that we're all looking for, which is to help them move that house and move into the next step, whatever that is. So with that in mind, let's have a little bit of an open discussion about what those things look like. And I've got some ideas, but I'd really rather hear yours first. I mean, and I'll say this because I had this discussion with some of the productivity coaches yesterday. We have a call every month, and we had a discussion about what do productivity coaches think about this? But that's fine. But we're also not on the hook. So what we think is important and useful and maybe some guidance, but I want to know what you guys are thinking. What are some things that you've thought about? But I want to toss out a couple as examples to kind of really get this going from just a simple, what's the simplest thing that I could do right now to get some more looks at my house that doesn't mean I'm dropping the price again after I just asked for a price drop. And one of those things is honestly, just rearranging the picture order. Just rearranging the order of pictures that you have. And the reason that happens is Zillow goes, oh, there's something going on here. And anything on the internet we've talked about before is about consistency of approach. And the more things that if you are consistently doing something, the more it gets seen. The internet does not want to put something it's already shown somebody in front of them because if they've already seen it, it's not new and exciting. So just changing the order of pictures can be a valuable way to do that. But if you're gonna change the order of pictures, I think it's important that you ask yourself, is the order of my pictures telling a story in the way that I want to tell it? Or did my photographer send me the pictures in the order they walked around the house and I threw them up there and maybe I didn't even comment on them? Do I have descriptions? Do the descriptions tell the story? Do the descriptions point out what's unique about this? Because if I'm telling a story with the pictures, which you are, whether you say anything or do anything, you are telling a story with those pictures. Why not control the story that's being told? What are you highlighting in those pictures? What is the order that you're presenting them in? One of the interesting things I heard on the call I was on yesterday, dude, you're out of control. is from a newspaper thing that we used to have when we used to have newspapers. Some of you, I saw Riley back there, they don't have newspapers when. But what's above the fold? As a newspaper, you never looked at the rest of the thing unless what was up top was interesting enough to pull your attention. So if I'm gonna tell a story, and we talk about this on Instagram, wherever Grace is, we pin up those three pictures up at the top of our Instagram, if we're doing our Instagram right, those are the things that tell a little story about us. And then the rest of our story is down there. So what are the primary pictures that I want to have up? The very first couple of pictures, right? I mean, we always take the first picture and that's the outside of the house. And that's super exciting. But what's the second picture? Am I going to go to picture 5 if picture 2 is the bad bathroom? Probably not. I'm just going to stop right there. Is my story telling a story to the person looking at this listing? And if it's not telling, I said, I gotta capture eyes. And my goal is to get a showing with their examination, right? If they're looking at this listing, my goal is to get a showing. What do I have to say, tell, and present to this person that says, I am now interested in seeing this in person? As somebody who's done a lot of coaching on resumes, I can tell you it's the same process. Your resume has to be designed for the person at the hiring desk to go, I would like to meet this person. Your listing in MLS is basically a resume for the house. Does this resume say, I want to continue looking, or does it say, I've seen this kind of thing before? And you get to choose that story. Now, I know some agents are super diligent about their descriptions. Some don't have any. And there's an opportunity for put those descriptions in a way that tell the story in the house that make people want to see more. Right? We all know, whether we like it or not, that we see videos sometimes highlighted. We need to have videos that highlight things. And the titles make you want to click. Do your descriptions make people want to see the next one? Or do they answer all the questions? You want to lure that person in. So let's have some questions. Let's talk about some stuff. Let's say some words. And they've got words.
They do have words. I think that yesterday's comment, not to keep Sarah, we're not trying to Sarah-ing all meeting. However, we had such a great conversation yesterday. And you shared how you had the multiple offers and you got more than you, that's an amazing success, but let's hear about the struggle. Everyone in here that's been in this industry has had listings sit. I had $400,000 home sit for a little over a year in 2009. And it sold eventually, short sale, but or not. So Sarah, tell us about your listings right now. Where they're sitting.
Well, the one that you guys were at, yesterday is in Apple Valley in the Cedar Isle neighborhood, it's where both Stacy and I live. And when we priced it, we looked at Jay's up market yesterday, 47. I think they came on, 47, 48 days ago. I did truly feel like it was priced appropriately. I know that neighborhood like the back of my hand. I go into almost everything that's listed in there. It's not mine. And so we priced it $750 and I thought that it was gonna sell in a weekend, and we had a ton of showings, crazy busy open house. I had lots of agents reaching out, asking if we had offers, what the seller's timeline was, can you have fences, like all the questions that people ask. And I was like, all right, this is gonna be great. And then nothing happened. And then the next weekend, I hosted an open house there, and it was also very busy, a lot of interest, but no offers. And then I think I started talking with them about, we're getting the showings, but we're not getting any offers. And that does tell us that, it's gonna be time for a price reduction. I'd already kind of planted that 5% seed. So then right after 4th of July, we dropped it. They dropped $38,000. And that's a huge drop to 712. And we've now had 2 weekends on at 712. And I think we've had 3 or 4 showings. No offers. And of course, they're frustrated and I'm frustrated. We had talked when we were discussing dropping the price, and I was saying that 5% was 38.5 or 37.5. And I said, another thing to consider would be dropping it further to $699 or $700 and trying to maybe hit, I think one of you was bringing that up, like that new set of buyers. And they thought about it overnight, came back on it because they were split. She was like, let's just go to $699. And then he was like, no, I want to do $712. And so they stuck with $712. And that's where they're at. I talked to them about it yesterday. I shared our conversations. We did have some other agents come through, 2 agents that have listings in Apple Valley. One's a little lower price point, but one's a similar price point. And they're seeing the same thing. Very few showings. They've done price reductions, no movement. So I was telling my sellers that this doesn't help you get the house sold, but it's not you. It's not me. It's not your house. We don't get any negative feedback. It's simply, it's the market, and there's an element of either being willing to drop the price again and to try to get ahead of that, or to be patient. So at this point, they want to be patient. They said they don't want to do another price reduction yet.
It's tricky. Thank you for sharing it. Anyone else in this boat? Hi, Grace.
I'll just say Will Bishop said something in the Zoom about Facebook Marketplace and creating events. That's free to do and people will like it and show interest in it. And then if you put that in as an event, more people will see it if people aren't liking it.
One of the agents that came through her broken. Broke girlfriend. I'm trying to combine it. It wasn't broken. Sorry, it wasn't broke. Broke her open and yeah, she said she started doing that. Greater activity. Thank you, Will. Anyone else have something they want to share? Because I know we all have some sitting on the market.
I'm just, don't be afraid to make offers. I had an offer that came in 50,000 low on my 299 and my sellers took it. The buyers ended up backing out, but with the association, but they ended up backing out. But so at some point, sometimes people are willing to just say, hey, you know what, I want to be done and that kind of thing. I also had one on a listing, a 1-level townhouse that I got an offer on 65,000 under asking price this last weekend. We're at 415 and got 65 under. And my seller did not take it, but we countered, but you know what? What was that? But it did get a price reduction from them right away to get me under 400. So at least with there's some activity going on, it might help spur some interest and encourage agents to make an offer. Who knows? You don't know what your sellers are gonna do.
Well, the other thing is too, even if you get a low one coming in, if you have others fishing around saying, do you have any offers? They don't know an offer came in 50,000 under.
Right.
I've had that happen, and then you can go back and say, guess what? We had an offer come in. And then that might push them over the edge and they come in at asking price.
One of the
So
things,
I always say, just start the conversation. I mean, that's what I always tell people if they call and say, well, you're.
Especially if it's on the market.
Will your
all the
seller
time.
look at our
Don't be
offer?
afraid to make an offer, I mean.
Well, but can I counter that? That's why a lot of my sellers are hesitant about price drops. That's because they think then a buyer is gonna perceive it as, oh, they're desperate, so now let's offer 5 or 10% below their 5 or 10% reduction.
Yeah.
And I know it's a lot of education, but I have them on both sides that think that.
It can be, but I know I showed my sellers too, how many, when you do a list of all your comps and how many of them have the arrow that they, hey, look how many people have been making price reductions.
Yeah.
It kind of spurs them on a little bit too.
But if that 5% or whatever price reduction gets you an offer that's 5% below that, it's at least a conversation, you're at least starting a conversation.
Yeah, they can always say no.
Yeah, exactly.
one of the things that Colin suggested on that side though, and part of our discussion is what am I doing now that I'm on the seller's side? One of the things that Colin suggested last year, and maybe you guys kind of remember this, is turn it around. You make the offer, make an offer to the buyer.
Reverse offer.
Yeah.
And if you're able to do that with your seller, you satisfy I'm not making a price drop, public in case some other offer comes in, but if you're willing to go a little bit less, and and they may be afraid to make and offer it that number.
Thinking it's insulting.
Well,
Right.
and keep the relationship with the agent who came in with the low offer, because I told her, I said, you know, if my sellers have a change of heart, I'll be back, or if we, you know, we come to a closer agreement or something, so until they find something else. You know, not buyers aren't always finding everything either.
I feel like this is a kind of conversation that can make a big difference. And Jamie's gonna talk about some moving forward together things, but also I want to point out that next month, Sarah's gonna be doing a seller class. These are the kind of conversations that make those classes valuable for everybody there. I'd love to see this conversation continue there. We do have some other things to get to today, because I think we've just scratched the surface of this, but I think that Sir would love to continue that as well. So what are some things we can collectively do right now, Jana?
I think we can put a pin in that part and we'll do it next time. Yeah, because I think there's a lot more to be shared. There are some things I think we can do collectively, and really, I mean, there's a lot of things like, let's get another set of eyes, you know, leadership, Jim Lee, we're all, you know, as broker, we're all willing to help do that for each other, right? But one of the biggest things that I want us to really start thinking and considering is sharing each other's listings online when you see something that you would like to share. I think that helps everybody, correct? But also let's get to some of these broker opens. You know, let's find ways to support one another in those ways. That seems to we kind of wind up attracting that back to us.
I have a question to all of you. Who would come to a broker open in Jordan? Would you drive a half an hour?
I would. 7 minutes, I'll come. Yeah, I would certainly try. Yeah.
It doesn't have, you can make a public open too.
Oh, yeah.
My open houses during the week are getting much more
Well,
attendance than
Michelle, you do
weekend.
that a lot, don't you? You do a broker and a public open.
I do it at the same time, yeah.
And yeah.
And I reached
you have-
I had
for mine
17
yesterday.
parties through on a Tuesday, 11 to 1.
You always have, we
Yeah.
tried that and we don't get anywhere near
Yeah.
that, but just,
just people.
I reached out to pretty much everyone that had listings from, because mine's at 712, from like 550 up to 850, and like invited them, and a few of them came through. I didn't with the turnout that I'd hoped for, but at least some of our, like my competition came through, and it was interesting to talk to them and hear.
And I would say even reach out to random brokerages that are in your Jordan and be like, look, I don't know you, but come look at this house.
Say it just like that.
And if not, I'm coming back.
Yeah.
Black eye.
Kristen.
I
share it with all of our Bell Point brokerages.
I have something to share that really dates me way back prior to when Coldwell Banker was not Coldwell Banker Burnett, but it was independent Coldwell Banker offices. They had a program that I thought was the coolest thing that ever did, and it was called a Blue Ribbon Program. And it would basically, you'd have teams of 3-4 agents or whoever, and many get together, and you would go preview each other's property. There's a checklist of it, and every seller wanted to make their home a blue ribbon home. Back then, we advertised in the paper, and the ones that had blue ribbons sold instantly. Everybody in the public knew that they were you know, some of the best, because they had to do a ratings thing. I don't know why Coldwell Banker Burnett never wanted to enhance that program, because it was a dynamite. If you could get your seller to improve their house enough to make it a blue ribbon home, they were sold. And it was, you know, I mean, I've been through 4 down markets, so I was when things were slower, and that's how we started that program. And it was a national program that they had, and then they dropped it when Burnett took over. So.
Well, thank you for starting that program for us. Thank you for stepping up.
That it. I'm sure I have the checklist. I just have to find out which old file it's in. Because I know I saved it.
Real quick, one thing I do want to say, so we do have some other things to get to right now. And it may go a little bit over. We do have food ready for y'all, and then connectors, but I just wanted to accelerate this part because we really need to hear from Jim Lee today on what's coming up August 1st, what changes. So let's give it up for Melissa real quick here. She got us all to spend our money in May, and we led the region. That was outstanding, and everything else that she does here is outstanding. Let's give it up for our anniversary. We'll be one big clap at the end, right? Everything's about Sarah today, right? Joelle, Bethany, Sarah, Selena, Anna, Ryan, Matthew, Lance, Maria. All right. Then we have David, Cindy, Jordan, Krista, Thomas, Pete, Allie, and Sienna. Woo! And because people introduced people to our office, we have top profit share members, and we had 38,000 to share this last month. Is that wonderful? Well, yeah, thank you. Steve, Lance, Jason and Brooke, Kristen, Kelly and Jason, Amber, Melissa, Kim and Craig, Kurt and Scotty, Dean and Shannon. Woo! Thank you all. Top individual, we're just looking at closed units. Michelle, Cindy, Jim Lee, Bryce, Amber, Lisa, Tony, Maria, Selena, and Thomas. And closed units, Jana, Riley Home Team, CMS, Kelly Arvidsson Homes Corn Team, Property, Field, Real Estate, Janie's and Kess Crew. And then HHG, Sternrud, we have Leisure, we have the Hoagies, Heroes, Team Lucky Duck, Hauser Home, Cedar Haven, and Team Counters. Nice work, everybody. That's a lot of hard work. And speaking of someone who works very hard, come on up, Grace.
Oh. Okay, this is tomorrow, from 4 to 6. It's gonna be at Lucky's. It's a KWPR happy hour, so anyone is welcome to go. Some of our ALC members will be there. You can count on them being there every time, so don't worry about being the only people that show up. But it's just a good opportunity to connect with people around the office that maybe you don't know super well. I know there's been deals like in the office where it's like, oh, there's an agent on the other side of this deal and I don't even know who it is. So this is a good opportunity to connect with people in the office that you don't know, talk to your ALC members, express any concerns that you have. Just a good opportunity, and it's at Lucky's tomorrow. Also happening tomorrow is a regional event. This is the luxury experience. So Brady is the director of growth for KW Luxury. And to go to this event, it's in Lake Minnetonka. It's from 3 to 6. There's going to be drinks, food, luxury cars. It's in a luxury home, boat tours, a live band. It's going to be a super great time. Bunch of people from the region can go. You do not have to be a KW Luxury agent to go to this. You can just sign up. This QR code will take you directly to sign up. There's only a few spots left, so if you do want to go, I encourage you to get on this as soon as possible. I believe the tickets are around $50 each, so it'll be a great time. I'm excited for it. Then the luau, next Friday is the deadline to vote for people. So please, if you haven't done that yet, vote for your fellow agents. It's super fun. Love giving these awards out every year, and RSVP while you're at it too. We love to see this super well attended. Bring your family, kids. We have games for kids, good food, catering, Pauhana. So yeah, that's exciting. It's coming up really quick. Oh. Mega Camp as well. I know the region is working on some events happening there too as well. Happy hours, and it's just a fun time. So if you do want to go, or if you didn't go to family reunion and you want to go to a KW convention, this is a great opportunity. Simon Sinek is the keynote speaker and he's great. I encourage you to look him up on social media. He has some great videos out there. So yeah, just look into it a little bit more if you're thinking at all if you want to attend Mega Camp in San Antonio. Then this is something new that we want to introduce. So if you've heard of Thank the Client, it's specific to, or it used to be specific to RE/MAX, and now they're opening it up to other brokerages. This is a mock-up of some of the stuff that they do, but they partner with companies like Nothing But Cakes, Crave, different restaurants around the area. And we as a brokerage have decided that we want to be a part of this, and we have given them our logo, our mission statement that goes on every card. And all you need to do, there's not like a subscription, it's just monthly. If you want to do it, it's a per card basis. You can pick how many postcards that you want to send out. You just create an account with them, go on the website, put in your information, and then this gets sent out to all your clients. You can do 200, you can do however many you want. This is a really cool marketing opportunity. I know Jim Lee's done it before and you had really great experiences with it. Bryce kind of headed this up for us, so that's why he is on here for the mock-up. But I just wanted to give you guys kind of a teaser about this. It's coming really soon and we're just waiting to get more information for you guys to get started, but look out for more on that. It's a good opportunity, just done for you marketing. It's great to put into a 36 touch program. So that is this, and I think now it's Schindler. Thank you.
Grace. Thank you, Grace. And I love this picture of Jimmy because it's like she's holding everything together because she seems to do that. And she's got a halo and she's been such an angel, especially lately with keys breaking off in doors. And we'll save that later for the broker bites.
Can you pull up the PDF one so they can see like the actual one? Please, the other one, like the ones. The big one. Okay. Hi, I'll go through this really fast because I love talking, so. Forms is probably the least exciting thing to talk about, but it happens every August 1st and they roll out changes every year. And when I'm done today, I'll send you out the copy of the PDF, which I have up here, and it highlights all the changes, so you don't have to go through and read or watch some annoying PowerPoints. Just gonna highlight it for you. I'm gonna start with the new forms. So they actually created some forms this year. The first one is this agent material fact disclosure. So this is if you know something about a property, and the seller didn't disclose it, or maybe it's disclosure alternatives and you have to disclose something, this is a form you can write it on. So brand new, something you can start using. If you have any questions about it or something you want to write on there and you're not sure how to word it, I know a lot of you call me, so I'm happy to help you figure out how to write it on there. Not a problem, just give me a buzz. Oh, did I go? I just skipped one. Yep. The next one is additional signatures. So sometimes we have like 6 people signing. Anybody ever had that happen?
Yeah.
Like 10 before once. Same. But there's extra spots for people to sign. So
Happens a
you're not-
lot when people have Todd's, when they have their property going to their kids.
Yes.
And what they don't realize, it's not just the 3 or 4 kids that need to sign, it's all their spouses on a
Yep.
time upon death deed.
Yep.
That's where I find where I use those a lot, need that a lot.
Instead of trying to cram it all into the one document, you can have this now. So additional signatures. Solar power systems, which we all love to deal with on a house when they go to sell. Solar power systems are personal property. They bring us a lot of headaches sometimes because people don't realize that, and they're oftentimes personal loans and people have to pay them off separately, and they're not attached to the house loan. So they brought a lot of people headaches over the course of time. I've had to deal with that before. So it's really good to have this, have them fill it out. I'm surprised it hasn't gotten there before, but it's great. I think it's great. So solar power system disclosure is what it is. And they finally made a statewide referral agreement instead of every brokerage having their own referral agreement and missing important information. So this is good, just to have a standard one. We do have our own brokerage one, but this kind of simplifies things. So if another brokerage is sending you one and it looks weird or not complete or whatever, you can ask them to use this one or use ours. We can talk about if we're going to switch to this or not. But this just is going to be rolled out. And then I'm just going to flip through some of these because they're pretty easy and basic changes here. And you're going to see, I know you can't see from the back of the room, but highlighted changes on exclusive right to sell. They're just talking about the IDX site. It's saying included limited electronic advertising or virtual brokerage, very basic. On the buyer rep contract exclusive, they're adding buyer acknowledges that buyer may be required to pay certain closing costs, which effectively increase the cash outlay at closing. So they're just getting so nitty gritty about exactly what we're saying to buyers and specific language. There, you're gonna see a couple times through here that I'm gonna bring this up. They added another thing for us to make sure we collect with the CIC docs. Awesome, it's gonna be so fun. The association's maintenance plan, the maintenance schedule, and the maintenance budget, which is great, because we can barely get the ones we need from the so.
And they'll charge you another, $200.
Yeah, so I don't always see these a lot in the packages that I collect right now. Don't know about you, but so it's gonna be another headache. So gotta make sure we get those collected in there. So I would definitely. This happens. Associations are a huge headache. They're a nemesis for us. Make sure you're looking through the docs. Make sure you get them all over. They're not complete until you have them all. And don't just trust the agent on the other side that they sent you all the docs, because they could innocently think they did and they didn't. Or they can know they didn't and they think, yeah, too bad for you, you're not paying attention.
And make sure you read them.
Yeah, and it is up to your client to read them too. And, but I would make sure you get all the docs collected, so. That's another one we get to do, so. And they added it to the receipt, so if you're not sure, like some of us have been doing this so many times that we know all the docs you have to get. But if you're not sure and you're newer, I used to use this when I first started. And this is not, you still should use this and have them sign it technically, but whoever receives the documents is the one who signs it. So that can be you signing it, or it can be your client signing it. But it's good to check these off, then you know you have them all. It's a good tool to use to make sure you have them all. So they added a maintenance plan.
Can I make one comment on that too? The other thing I'm discovering, because I've got a lot of condos, is ask for the insurance deck sheet instantly when you write an offer on a condo. Because you need to talk to your insurance company, because I've got a couple of them that are uninsurable.
Yeah, that's happening a lot.
Hmm.
That's why condos are sitting a lot more right now.
So it's cash buyers only, which doesn't always work.
I've run into a couple lately, they won't even take cash on. It's weird.
What?
Yeah.
I will take that.
I don't know why. Here's again, right of rescission. Purchase agreement, they just changed the description and added well water inspection, because so many people think it's a well inspection and it is not a well inspection, it is well water.
Why we not thought of that before?
Yeah. Yeah, so people just don't read the top of the addendum, and then the agents get in arguments. Oh, you inspected the well. No, they didn't. They literally just took the water out. They did not even look at the well at all. People move in, the well breaks, and the client's mad at you. Why? They inspected the well. No, they only looked at the water. So make sure you're clearly telling your client that when you have those inspections, because people think they inspect the well and it's not. Purchase agreement, new construction, they just added a construction deposit checkbox, because oftentimes they do put those huge hefty deposits down, not just earnest money. So that's another checkbox they added. Well water inspection again on the construction purchase agreement. On the sale of buyers property contingency, they changed the language on the days. So it's either currently listed or will be listed within days of final acceptance. So they just added the words final acceptance of a purchase agreement. Be kind of tricky, but obviously they want to wait until they get their house sold before they put it on the market, so. Same thing on the, well water, again, they just have to carry it over onto all the documents for the well and septic contingency. Same thing. And then the disclosure statement, seller's disclosures, they added the solar power system. So they added that into it in a section to call it out, which is good. Probably long overdue for that. No, that was fast.
Will our office have the templates and transaction desk uploaded by August 1st?
Hopefully, so like that's when they released them out, so we're trying to work on that. We did get our hands on some of the ones for like the ones that affect the buyer rep and the those kind of things, so we could build in the commission language in there. We have those being worked on, because we have to get them uploaded in Lowell, so we plan on trying to get those into the templates by August 1st, and then I have to load them into the office, you know, buyer and seller templates and republish them to you guys, so that is the plan. I'm trying to get my hands on all those, yes.
Regarding the maintenance agreement for the HOAs, I mean, obviously we, you know, don't have control over the property management companies, but I assume they're being made aware that this is a new requirement. I would assume so.
Exactly.
I'm just curious how much fighting we're gonna have. to do
Yeah.
now.
Let me read what it said on that. There was.
The big one
something
is
something
Dave Mullen,
here.
have service
Yeah.
residentials and those kinds. Condo certs, they won't have it.
They said there was a change made in 2026 statutory amendments to the Minnesota statute, chapter 515B. So the legislative updates required them to do that. So they have been made aware. Whether they follow that, Kelly, is
Right.
gonna be fun for us. Like, I get it, because half of the time,
They hire out to a national company to their docs.
and some of them, you know, still chasing them down is fun, so hopefully, yes.
Especially probably condos that maybe been on the market 60, 90 days already. May not have that maintenance budget in their docs or whatever, yeah.
Yeah. And they go to, so once you get a purchase agreement, they're gonna have to pull it. So if you run into any problems, I mean, you can call me and I'll try to help you get them to give it to you, but I have a document that explains all the stuff we just went over, and then I have the PDF with all the highlights. I'll send this out to everybody so you have it, so you don't have to go and watch a webinar. I know that was fast, but it'll be easy for you.
Thank you so much, Jeremy. Grace.
Oh, Grace has a question from online.
No, Bryce just wanted to mention on Zoom that they'll have a big agenda for the 2027 Forms Committee, so he said he would highly recommend submitting any suggestions for next year's committee, and you can do that on the state association website.
Thanks, Bryce. So make some recommendations. I like it. Hey, well, I'm guessing you're hungry. You know, one thing, it's on my conscience every time we do this. So sometimes our meetings don't go like when we kind of like, okay, Colin will be done at 11:10, and know that this is kind of what our sequence is in our head. And then we have to make adjustments. So there was a couple times up here, I just want to let you know, because it looks rude from my perspective when I'm watching people, but we don't have little walkie-talkies in our ear to coordinate with one another during the meeting and speed some things up or whatever we're doing. So we will text back and forth. I just want to guarantee that I'm not playing like Minecraft. So I will be right after the meeting. But so I just wanted to clear that up, because like I said, I think that can look rude, and we have to do it. We have to. So thank you all on Zoom. Thank you all here. Let's get in line for some Zupas. Chibli's like lifeline food now. And then we'll see you back in here for connectors. Thanks, everybody.
Rock's interested in math, and I was like, "Hey, can you help me figure out how to do anything?" I tried to like.
I'm so always trying to get on the screen, like, okay. Like nothing happened. I'm careful. So I'm like, oh, it's a little silly, and like, it's very, okay, this is my favorite. I could write this out. I forgot. The online webinars, I wasn't quite sure if that like.
So.
It's like, oh,
Oh, that is good.
Okay.
He's been fighting for themselves, it says, you know, I, it's stuff that other brokers do, that's. But I don't.
Really?
That guy right there.
I've had it like off. But maybe something that you never know. If anybody knows how to get that in their.
I way the after chat.
Not responding to anything.
One of us, and for you.
Good for you. It's crazy.
Change the life.
Makes it happen.
Huh?
And it's like, just trying to, Kristen was not good at that.
Good for you.
That
Good reason to be here.
Yeah, right. Good as well, so.
I, of course, like, also like other than like. So it's like nice to get away. When you're in like female newspaper. I wonder the headline. And then fire for the fire as far as the media. That's kind of my first step. Is right away. Have an online presence and then kind of see.
Yeah. And you kind of have to. Somewhat different jobs.
Yeah.
I mean, in the end, they're the same big thing, right? But I mean, they're different. Like, fit. She's in a different category there.
Yeah.
She does do business. I don't think she can get it. He was like, I wanna have that.
Yeah.
As a new agent.
How long after the meeting is that?
It's not a great idea to look at the top of the stairs and go, I'm just gonna jump up.
Yeah.
It's a step-by-step process.
Friday.
And every.
Yeah, it's on the dashboard, right?
But you do want to take an adjustment step, right? Tony Brown doesn't encourage you to graduate for free. How do I get the money to do that? I gotta start doing some business. Right? I gotta do my business. Where I can. And that's.
It's fun to
stuff. I mean, unlike a restaurant, or even retail. Just thought how we can. Right, and so when they build a new store, they come in, they've got all the money, and all the marketing, all the merchandise, everything's all set. People forget that at some point in time. But that retail store, just a mom and pop store, in the middle of a shopping mall, that some people went to. And over time, they. All the things walking into the brand new hub over there,
Oh, yeah.
right? I mean, wow. But I've been to other problems. And as a new agent, you go, I'm gonna be this guy, and not the starting level.
Yeah.
You can go over all the things.
Yeah, cause that's like, it's like I know where I want to tell that I know that of course, like I would have to start like. So I done all the things that I got my brain on that. It's like my vegetables.
Buffalo sauce.
Yeah.
I'm like, maybe sometimes taste it, like, because I And it's soft, French.
I can see how, yeah, like that in religion. Gives me a visual agency, because I don't, my brain, I'm just like, think about how when I was here, so I'm from Colorado, so I'm like, okay, I had an idea, but was what happens if I focus that actually would like vision option for doing. It's like, I just barely did. I'm not gonna lie, this morning, you know, and so I'm getting all the content. Yeah, obviously I haven't learned it from value, or I can even make the first to build, and then like. To be able to recognize that in. Oh, if there's changes to the contract, then, of course, I'm gonna need to be even more prepared. Yeah, these are very beneficial, like on a weekly basis, because I didn't expect you to also go over like how many mistakes that you had specifically at the same time. Yeah. How long?
Gosh.
Right?
Like taking Jason's job.
It's gonna be like, thank God, because I'm gonna have to tear Jeff me something.
Yeah. Jack can help us do it. Really can do it all.
Breathing like.
Yeah, oh, yeah, no, I.
There's so much.
Oh, yeah, so.
One of the first things I was thinking about that. What information am I going to allow in my network?
Yeah.
I say my focus at, or otherwise, they end up like a driver on the right side, right? Or just fishing. Without it.
Yeah.
Flow and so on. And that's our thing, and that's the whole part about it. Versus, or using my practice.
So I'm like, no.
Once I've gotten that. Okay, so. But a lot of times. Founders really talked about it. Systems. And then later on, looking into. Otherwise, we're not prepared for the results of our creativity.
Oh, yeah.
And something else, should I find?
And,
Should I find?
Is that your stuff?
oh,
Maybe
yeah.
somebody else. They come to. Where's your follower? Because they're very. They all are actually.
Yeah, versus like, just like Brad, what you guys do.
What's your follow for a client? Don't prove that.
Ham.
When they make a decision.
Huh?
Every dollar spent on that heat is way by.
Yeah.
So.
What sandwich you got? Never had, I don't think I've ever had.
And I'm like, oh.
They're killing me with tomato sauce.
Are you right?
I'm sure you go ahead and so. We have this part that looks like that. So. And I was like, well, we're surprised that was right, you know, there's that. And that's.
I'm trying to work on that. It's like, oh, I get focused on it, like.
Nobody trusts you. Hey, you know what?
I was looking, I'm like, what? 2 hours, too long. Hey, how are you? Good, how are you? It was just a
How are you doing, kid? The wife.
Quite good. Quick, that was a good one.
Why would you did what? Kate, what do you think? I've been at a team meeting in Coon Day. Have you ever been? I don't, I mean, no, yeah, like very early. Like, hey.
I'm okay. So I didn't go off all kinds of stuff.
So, information.
I would went to Costco and got it with that. Okay. I'm gonna get
Jim, she's the only one that actually, like, RSVP. No, but you did RSVP.
Riley, Gabriella. Everything's productivity agent, relatively new. Kate has her first listing coming on later this week.
Jim. I'm tired.
Drop them off. I have excellent food. I want to put something in my mouth.
Yeah, like hard, like, that I have to kind of, sign with the college therapist, and I had like a guide. But once I have those taken care of, I'm like, okay, I can get through this.
Know it well.
Yeah, I
I
mean,
didn't live there.
it's going up more exciting when I do it, right? What did you do before you went on stage? I had an office. Oh, in a 5, 6 steps all day, so it's not working. A lot. That's good to hear. And it's good to hear that you came from a different, like, occupation. You're still full time in it. Oh my gosh. I love that for you. And we have. Maybe it wasn't our. And then another agent who lives in our neighborhood, but also has like a competing listing.
Yeah.
Just back about how we're kind of.
That is why.
Everyone laughed. And I think. It's funny, like, like I also, like, someone know this, so I typically operate in like all environments. Oh my gosh. I wanted to like switch over because we're not. So, well, hey, I know everything. So like,
the on a yearly basis, in like multiple different licenses to operate in the areas. But then it's like over-regulated and under-regulated at the same time. And so it's just like just a little frustrating and my family works in Colorado. So my ultimate goal is to like have an operating business between the two states. So that's where I'm like, my husband's here, everybody's here in Minnesota. Like, I know we're staying here, but I have to be able to go visit. Like, it's like, so in a way, so I love, I'm also a Reiki master, so I do massage therapy, Reiki practitioner and stuff. So ultimately, like 10 words or less, when you have a healing technique that helps regulate your nervous system, it works energy body versus physical body. That's actually one reason that I found it really like, there's, you know, no matter where, like God first, you never know. I did that in my spiritual person, so that is like open, and it is a lot of hospitals. And I don't really want to work as like a hospital as like a rate master, but I would do basically the same job as a child, except it is not. Yeah, it is, yeah, something where I'm like all that, like my personal charity that and I want to offer the services for free to people. So.
I was in
like
Texas.
I'm going to like on that, like I'll be trying
And like she was like part of their house was like and
but yeah, like the
you know, I believe her walking there. And there was nobody else really close to her. And we were like, the new amount.
like
Oh my God.
I'm like the same size.
Just a minute. Yeah, no, check it out.
Yeah, it's great. So like, so you guys, you've been down. Like,
Reaching my and I just started, I'm like, oh, and then I said, like that here, here, I did it in Virginia Beach.
oh, nice, okay.
Like, but yeah.
Yeah, oh, I know exactly where you went. Yeah. It's like one area is like, I don't know, it's a monumental area, once you get to see the Colorado Natural Monument. And so I really got to go there, but like, it wasn't fire, but there, it's got the fire, it's been down. Yeah, that's like, I know it was just like really quick after it's little town. Like,
That was a long time, but it was.
My husband's always like, there's not enough water in Colorado for me, so that's so fun. It's not fair, so.
Somebody. Like this time around.
Little kitchen and village.
It was my fun book.
Oh, yeah. It's probably. That's where my husband and I got married. Yes.
Oh my God.
He always likes to say.
Wow, that is.
So Harvey Cab, oh, you were in Nineville, Colorado. Okay.
Now.
I used to live right down the street from them, and I go after that, I don't really have that, and I rent a couple of.
Like 90.
Meat market,
But I also like go for runs. Like, Yeah, very, and I was. Too, where it's like. You
I just saw your car.
I've
been there in August last year.
Yeah.
It's just.
No, you're.
So.
Oh, literally.
You're just in the. It's starting.
My dad had said, I find, yeah, but like Arizona.
And the drive.
If I, you know, if anybody needs a handrail. We have one that I do.
And my mom and I live in Savannah, you know, and yeah, like, that has like, also he works at, like, you know, and I, like, he doesn't.
Yeah,
Like, I'm not like, really everybody. Has that.
Has that.
Yeah, then I mean, it's like, love that. There's not a lot, not a lot of water.
Yeah, especially where you were. So it's like, I'm gonna stay here now and like see your guys.
His name is Jamie. Have a fabulous day.
I'll be here next week.
Not next week. This Wednesday.
Oh, okay. Okay, but he's been very like pleased with now. And
Which happens.
soon as we're all walking and the boxes came prepared, you know, with. Yeah. And he tried, and now he's having lots of guilt because he tried to pull him off really quick, but then he was trying to keep the other dog off, and he kind of dropped him, so when the dog came in and got him back leg. Oh, he feels so guilty. He's like, I should forget. I'm like, you know, those things happen like that. So anyways, I was just glad that.
And it's so uncommon.
Yeah, like between, what it's like.
Pull the dog off. When the fifth one goes, this is the.
But anyway.
My wife was letting out the neighbors' dogs, they better like dogs, but then I get a text. One of those. I don't know how to get in the bag.
Oh, no.
So.
Usually you'll see that on a Friday email.
Walk in the back there.
From the.
Or. So for some reason, they're all cornered.
One she should like.
Right. Oh, wow. You just never know. You just never know, right? Yeah, that is super interesting. And there's something with Vinny, we've always said, like, he gives off some kind of alpha dog.
Yeah.
Cause he is not aggressive or mean at all, but other dogs get very, like, get out of my face. When he comes around, we've had quite a few. It's super interesting. We're like, there's gotta be something in his pheromones or whatever that he is too. It's like, you know, I don't know.
I think I haven't heard that word in a long time.
And.
Yeah, I definitely have.
Race. Because of the decoration. That does.
And like when I was walking, I don't know if I have right here.
We will not go into the money.
Later that day.
Nor will we be, you know, we won't be in right, just.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. Yep.
We are not so.
I know my son hasn't working here. He's like.
We aren't even.
Yes.
We're giving.
I.
Right, and I'm saying that we are 100% American McDonald'sing our way through it. Yes, it is.
Yeah, everyone kind of.
Really things.
Yeah, a lot of it is like, well,
You can make a request and I'm gonna immediately put it in breaks, but I'll listen.
from GC that were supposed to be there.
Yeah.
And then even like my friends from high school, like they're.
We did wear some dress skirts.
It's really nice. Yeah, I would check them like that. Yeah.
Well, they're flat,
So
so
we
they're
still
not.
have some good friends.
It was like fun.
I've got one on.
And I.
There's something like.
Yeah.
I think that's right.
So how it.
I'm gonna-
I know.
We're not
And then, yeah,
gonna-
my-
Negative
like-
line. Care about that by pretending.
We're like watching. And they just like don't get. And I'm so like. or the Midwest at all.
I
do have appointments,
but I have like my appointments on Wednesday, like every third Wednesday, actually. So this might be like, no.
I'd like to reach out to you because I go to the gym every twice a week and my trainer is like, you need someone to look at how ridiculous you are.
Okay, I work at a Lifetime too.
Insistent that somebody needs to look at the massive amount of knots in my body. And,
Oh, I'm here for you. I'm sure you're not strong. Unless you're like, he's no elbow. Like, I do all pressure styles.
it's pretty funny. I don't.
Garbage trucks. Like she didn't.
At the end of the day, I'm one of those, I don't.
Like they just
Fix
keep
it.
trash.
Fix it. Fix it.
Oh, okay.
Whatever it is, fix it.
I'm like,
I'm not gonna say pain's not.
creative freedom.
I'm not gonna say pain's not a thing, because that's a lie, but I'm pretty comfortable with, you know, if it was like like a Theragun, and he's sitting there just jamming, and we're going nowhere.
Oh, okay, I see you then. Well, definitely, you're texting me on like just your online
Well,
platform? Oh, okay, okay. Then yeah, definitely let me know. I'm pretty much open like throughout the week as long as I get my schoolwork done and then it's all day. But I will talk to you then whenever you text me and then no meeting next week, but I will update you where I am. I guess I should ask since I'm here. Do you go through like my workbook? Do you have access to mine? Okay, then I'll just message you like when I finish a unit or when I do the test, so. Okay.
Like when you go, what is earnest money?
What?
Okay.
Is earnest money?
Or, oh, yeah, sorry,
Perfectly reasonable resource for that.
sorry, processing. Wait, okay, perfect, well then.
Anything.
And not. Good day, everybody.
Nice to meet you.
But they like, some of them, some are like, right. This is, yeah.
Oh, wow, okay, now what I did.
He's on the island. So, I think, well, they're, and so he like, they like, just kind of live. Yeah, I'm like, you're safe. Like, were you guys going?
Wow, I was not.
Some people like go to, wanna go.
I know, I just.
Yeah.
So now where? Then
Just
back.
make an appointment, because I'll show up then automatically versus, guessing.
Oh, he's like. He built them like.
Nope, it is not.
That is awesome.
They're so cute.
Yeah, that's.
They're like.
Did it great for. Well, she was. Like, and go to Janice. She has like almost a house. So just like, I don't see much like happen. However, when she monitors honey and the color thing, like trinkets, you know what I mean? It's like not, it's not like, we didn't have, it didn't work. So, yeah, pizza, butter.
Lined up like night, and then I threw out.
Her husband had.
Yeah, so you look up Thomas.
Like, I don't even like when I.
And then. No.
Oh, I should look it up.
This is Mama Rosa, so they all have like the name.
I guess.
See how it's a
Probably
name?
right.
So there are. Like one to that.
Right. I'm gonna check.
What about that in the bay?
I'm still gonna choose, I'm not there, so I don't want anything to do with that. I'll take my odds.
See, that's.
I know,
also like-
very
so fun. It's awesome.
I'm not gonna be the swimming bear. And I'm not gonna be Winnie the Pooh in nature. I bet me. Sure. There are very many.
It's so. That's how that is. I was like, I'm like.
Oh, man. You know what I'm saying?
There might not be.
It takes so much experience to know. What levers and.
It's like a dog, man, that thing's on the ground, so this way, this way, this way, this way. But a bird, from here, going up and down, all kinds of, you don't know what was happening with birds. We used to have a bird, that bird, like, one time, Kelly opens up the cage, that bird comes flying out, comes flying like.
They're breaking about it. Why?
I was sitting in a chair, leaning back, and that bird.
Huh? Oh, yeah, I am so nervous.
It's like the first time in a long time, I mean.
So nervous.
It sounds like a thing in that anger.
But that, I mean, and just.
The market is so weird, you guys.
And then, like, it used to be operations, they'll do a lot of operations in retail stores. Well, they were like. Truck guy in.
Yeah.
you just
I
swallow,
wanted to come to
They
Europe.
will typically, that's right above.
I went to.
Let them get awning right in there.
But not yesterday, it was like earlier.
Barrel,
Yeah.
right, because they don't fight you, fight you.
I was like,
I'm going.
It's supposed to be so nice.
Oh, I know, it'll be.
Come at me. I'm going in. I'm not.
It's like,
Tell them that.
I don't know, that's my fault. I said, "Oh, come."
This is not bad.
These are good. I know you good. May not choose to listen. Now, because, what was it he said?
I'm sure just.
My God. At least I'll know.
I don't wanna have to go back. I mean, you know that the bird doesn't have anything to eat for a while.
I know that the bird does. There's no potential. There's no potential. I said, lighten up, Francis.
I can't.
How do you know I'm Francis?
You don't know.
But I think that just happens with the bird.
Oh, okay.
But I clean it all the time.
I know they got it.
At least the birds, you're always running.
What age are you like? Brain development? When you're on call with love development.
I go downstairs, so. In the morning.
So I am too behind
Yeah,
that.
or whatever. If you're smart, you go right on first, and I just
But
never.
now.
So was orientation.
First I was
Was
saying,
Stevie Nielsen about it?
no, no, no.
July 22, National.
I mean, I think you're gonna.
Ian Chin, honey mango chili. Chicken.
So I got.
And if that was after Fourth of July.
Did Nathan go to?
Juicy mango.
So it's buyers that will get it.
Chai
That's not a perfect
Yeah.
timing. Like, Son wants to get off.
7:20.
So.
Friday.
No, they were good because they were not there. My brother.
And then.
But,
Yesterday.
I don't know, like.
Next
But
level.
it was fun. It was fun.
It worked out, I think.
I can get them all.
For a couple years, more.
Especially for Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tomorrow, I think about lunch.
Yeah.
So I was looking at lunch with a friend, but she had asked me, so I'm like.
That's the fact that you have.
He's your back.
No. I was like, oh, I have to get ready.
Another one.
Yeah.
Jay, it's. You know.
Maybe we'll get all three of us.
We
had it. Yeah, I said, what was wrong?
Are you like?
What is
And
it?
then tonight. So what time? So I was like, are they moving out? Like, you know,
I was the one who did that thing.
So I asked her. for it.
I would, ideally, I wanted to like last thing, but I need to need it here in the whole house. I broken my husband, we're cleaning this home. So that's like, that's a good.
Very good.
Your pictures weren't there until first. So
Down.
You like the pasta better?
Yeah, and then I found out. That these are very good. Sounds like they're all gone. I just need to go buy my. So you guys fix it.
Oh, is it?
They were able to.
I saw that. I'm so.
I don't remember. It's like tomato.
HRI.
Bacon. Oh, and this like nice like honey.
What?
Yeah, and so like AC was.
I don't know if it makes pasta well. Sometimes it makes measure.
Like once.
And honestly,
settings.
It's not like even really pesto, like how
These
big
are
pesto is.
So many
Do you
people don't
taste
do
it?
that and it's so surprising.
Oh, thanks a lot.
Oh.
Countries. We even have that. Like they're blocks away.
But they try.
But they
Hey, ladies,
like,
if that's- Y'all have skinheads?
Ask.
This is like.
See, we were talking about it over here.
They'll do 10 for $200.
Are you?
We were saying as you get older, like, they just pop.
Hey, your friend, it's cheaper.
Yeah.
Mine.
We should get it together. She's got 5, I've got 5. It's always in like horrible places, like
Yeah, I've got like one.
This is weird, because my husband is only not.
You have so much to look forward to.
I mean, it's not as bad as not, but like, this is. Yeah, well, this is after we took out the panels. You know, like, we took off.
Full
the
on.
panels. So
Are you on?
because
Sorry.
they all had that.
Or yeah.
So then you just. Yeah. That's after just like.
I had a full hysterectomy.
It's like a real co-op.
What is
Yeah.
hairy? What is the
Like,
difference between?
You don't want to do that because you don't want it.
Like when the hot flashes like that stuff?
You want it to start.
Before you
You don't
actually
have to line up a
I'll just hang on one second.
That's why you do it now.
Oh, yeah, I did.
So, my understanding, it's like actual, you don't wanna do that.
Day that spent years. So otherwise you're period.
It makes it.
So I guess I would be opposed.
I think I'm not.
We haven't done it in a few years.
Would that be kind of nice though? Like,
Especially, but
I'm
I've
done.
done one listing.
My hysterectomy was
Like when they were really bad.
Yeah.
That's what I felt about this until apparently.
The air
Yeah.
was so full.
I will say I felt
You know,
that
like.
way till just
Lord, thank you, but why?
I could see.
What do you mean? How do you know you started yesterday? Like you
Probably
were supposed to get it, but you didn't?
Oh,
Oh, you got it.
So what someone once said to me is perimenopause is like community. My boss said, we're gonna don't have that.
Yeah.
Their hormones are all.
It's kind of like my 60s.
Yes.
And me are in the same season.
Behind.
There are, okay, more OBGYNs these days, you guys, are really tuned up to the fact that women all the hormones. Once they, they're like, I don't need to go to get this doctor.
Oh.
To like provide.
And if you do, you have the wrong.
Exactly.
Then you have to find it out.
I know my mom, like I wish I had that.
Mhm.
My mom's
Menopause. When that is menopause.
doctors were
Because
not
we
like
get blamed for everything.
with like all the different.
Men's fault.
No option.
You're not
No,
there.
my mom knew.
Hi, I'm a man.
Just so you know.
I'm a man. Fair enough. I know enough with my wife.
I always tell, the moment I saw her, it's like her voice, everything about her. Yeah, in the third, they told me everything. And if someone had just, give them some, it wasn't a face.
Yeah.
But to do.
Yep. I know, I don't think she.
Doctors were told, doctors were telling me not to, it was as one of their beliefs that.
It was it was a bad study.
That's funny, but it affected like a whole generation to a woman who was told that. They shouldn't be doing.
Was this.
Like a fear. Where like. So risk.
There are.
Yeah.
Actually, I find that especially sometimes at home.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe it's.
I was just saying.
So 66.
No, I was just really. I think your mom would get nobody.
No.
Yeah, but like my mom.
You know, you get that turning.
Yeah.
So she's. And I didn't like.
Yeah, so,
But.
No, that's not true. There was one family that came, others at the very end. Yeah, yeah. It's like came, did a show and then it was back and they were there.
Of course, she was started.
They were- That's the problem. Easter egg, like, between 30, like, all the way to there's no.
Yeah,
I know that I could change tomorrow, so I-
Yeah.
that's why I like don't like
Yeah.
to, and I'm like, I bet, and playground, like, I put it, slowly, so my neighbors were great, they're very friendly, and I'm 51, so like, I think my doctor's saying, I think, well, so I'm probably just like in the hospital, maybe the whole thing, later end, you know, like, some people are like, I might just go. I mean, it's not.
I know, it's not.
There was.
I was been fishing. Oh, so she talks. So there was a little
Yeah, so she'll probably.
And it was full size original orders.
I know, I'm like, curious, so she does everything.
And I know.
That would be a, how I'm under the for her.
And then we buy our house. And they have heard that. So we have 7. These guys actually well past. Well, this was even if they do start. But like ours, we're okay. She probably got days.
Yeah, folks.
Really comfortable with that, but.
But slowly, I don't sure that's. Slowly you've been doing it for all you know, because eventually. You're not so hard.
Yeah, there's a hand.
Okay.
Yeah, I know, it's not.
Oh, I'm reading this now.
Like, I just framed that in. I was like. She's not going.
Yeah. I know.
Yeah.
It's like.
I like
To go
following
through
her,
that.
I like.
Well, she was very opposed to me. That's when I was.
Because of the theater.
Sure. That's not the problem. And you try to walk outside. Wow, shit, that was terrible. It's terrible for her. It's terrible. I don't know how to do that.
Yeah.
12 people through.
Uh-huh.
Thank you, Jamie. Thankfully, I did one last week. Yeah, I think it's better.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
I
Like,
like out from the.
I had that one yesterday. I went to the land of the origin age.
And you can't find out if it's have any other than like that is some speech anyway.
So I've been.
She's like, let's, she's like, sounds like I'm not the answer. She's like, yeah. And I was like, yeah, I'm like, sure, treat it as you have it, and it's supplement instead of like, there's like this, whatever.
Because I found my.
And then now I. So better. No, here it is. And I'm like, yeah, so then we're like, she's like, okay, well, I can pretty much adore it. Without finding out.
You know, given a number of days, so people can see that there's no. I just told her.
Yeah, I did it one time. I connected one sleeve.
What do we do?
You just.
I'll decide based on the top.
You have to share your feelings.
Garinger.
Good enough? Hard enough?
You was fine, doing fine. You was in potense. You know, I was coming to tell you that all we're instead of shorts today, we all know it's a crop and the longer pants today. Not totally, but.
He's like, I got.
Yeah, I'll catch you. I just.
We only know her like that.
Yeah, we'll see. I did go through it on my phone. I'll be here. That makes sense. We're gonna have to get.
Trying to think what time is my closing tomorrow. Yeah, this week's gonna be tough.
It's like, I left ALC and like 30 seconds after you sat down, I was like, don't. But I have to leave right now.
Tomorrow,
Are you going to be there?
don't know that I'll be on Friday, and then.
I won't see the Fridays or Saturday.
Okay, good.
Oh.
I'm doing the luxury thing and they're right.
Totally
Friday, the anniversary party. Next week,
Just to say all of these were.
Girl, don't look at me, I'm not in charge of this.
As we
Crazy.
I suppose you should look at me, 'cause I am a
Once or twice
Teresa.
at Charlie's.